So how do you even begin to build a winning business strategy when the world feels more complex, more unpredictable than ever before? Well, today, we're going to create a modern navigator's guide. We're going to chart a course right through the turbulence of the global economy. You've probably heard this famous Mike Tyson quote, right? It's brilliant because it captures such a fundamental truth. And it's not just for the boxing ring, it's for the boardroom, too. We can spend all the time in the world perfecting our own internal plan, but that plan means absolutely nothing if we ignore the punch that's coming right at us. So in business, what is that punch? Well, it's not a left hook. It's a sudden, unforeseen shift in the world around you, the external environment that's way outside your company's walls. And that's exactly why today we're stepping outside to scan the horizon. All right, so for the first part of our expedition, we need to learn how to spot those punches before they even land. We've got to scan the horizon for both the threats and the opportunities before we even think about setting sail. Now, the tool we're going to use for this is called Pestle. And yeah, I know, it kind of sounds like something you find in a kitchen, but trust me, it's basically an essential radar system for any strategist. It forces you to look at 6 key areas that are constantly shaping your world. Let's just take the P for political. This is way more than just who wins an election. This is about the fundamental rules of the game being rewritten. Imagine you're in the electric vehicle industry, and a government out of nowhere just slaps a 100% tariff on key battery components. Boom, your costs explode, your entire strategy is shattered. That's political risk. And Pestle makes you think about this across economic shifts, social trends, technological disruptions, legal changes, and environmental pressures too. It's about seeing the ground shifting beneath your feet. Okay, so our radar is officially on. We know how to look for risks. Now for the next big question for any global navigator, where do we go? Let's start mapping out the new economic world. So broadly speaking, you can split the world map into 2 main territories. On one hand, you have the advanced economies. They're mature, mostly service-based, and have high incomes. And on the other hand, you have the emerging markets, which are all about rapid growth, industrialization, and a fast-rising middle class. But here's where it gets really interesting. Just look at this trend. See those blue bars for 1990? The advanced economies were just completely running the show, right? It wasn't even a contest. Now watch what happens when you follow those orange bars all the way to 2019. Whoa! It's almost a 50-50 split. The entire center of economic gravity has literally shifted. Okay, so we've picked a destination. Let's say an exciting emerging market. The next problem is, how do we actually get there? How do we make landfall and set up shop? Turns out there are really 2 main schools of thought on this. You've got the all-in approach, where you make a big, direct, and risky investment. Or there's the more cautious step-by-step approach, where you kind of dip your toe in the water and expand as you learn the local terrain. That all-in strategy, that's what the OLI model is all about. And it's pretty clear. It says a big, expensive move like a foreign direct investment only makes sense if you've got this perfect trifecta of advantages. First, a unique ownership advantage, like a patent they can't copy. Second, the location itself has to offer you something special. And third, it has to be cheaper to internalize it, to do it yourself rather than partnering up. If you don't have all 3, this model says, just don't do it. The other way to go is the Uppsala model, and this one sees expansion more like a journey, not some giant leap of faith. You start small, maybe just with a local sales agent. Then, as you learn the ropes and gain market knowledge, you commit more resources. You're basically building a bridge to that new market, one plank at a time. It's a slow, steady, continuous process. All right, we've scanned the horizon, we've picked our spot, we've even made landfall. Now for the most important question of the whole expedition. Where is the treasure? I mean, how do you actually create value and make money in this new global landscape? And the key to unlocking this is an idea that will completely change how you see business. It's called the smile curve, and it's revolutionary because it shows us that value isn't spread out evenly anymore. The highest value gets captured way at the beginning, in R&D and design, and way at the end, in marketing and service. And that middle part, the actual physical manufacturing, that's where the value is lowest. Let's start on the left peak of the smile. This is all about the concept phase. The value here comes from things that are really hard to create. Think patents, R&D, secret formulas, unique designs. These are intangible assets. They're incredibly difficult to replicate, and that creates a huge barrier to entry that protects your profits. Then we head down into the bottom of the curve, the trough. This is where all those brilliant, intangible ideas actually get made into real, tangible things. This is the world of factories, of assembly lines, the whole shebang. But wait, why is this the lowest value part? Well, it's something called the commoditization trap. Think about it. Manufacturing needs to be standardized so it's easy to copy. You're competing with literally everyone on the planet who can build a factory. And on top of that, robots are getting better and better at it. Those three forces just relentlessly crush your profit margins down to almost nothing. But then, look, the value starts to climb back up on the right side of the smile. And here, the whole game changes. It's not about making the thing anymore, it's about selling the solution. The value is back in the intangibles, your brand, your reputation, your customer service, the whole experience you create. So we've seen the map of where modern value is hiding. For our final section, let's talk about how to actually master this curve and find that treasure. And here's the absolute key takeaway. The whole point of modern strategy is to move up the curve. You do not want to get stuck in that low margin middle. The strategic imperative is to invest in the stuff that's hard to copy, your intellectual property on the left and your brand on the right. You know, when you really think about it, the physical product itself is just a container. It's just a vessel. The real value, the stuff you can defend, is in the intangible invention that dreamed it up and the intangible brand that connects it to your customers. So our expedition is complete. We've gone from scanning the horizon to finding the treasure map. But now I've got a question for you. Think about your own company, or even just your own career. Take a good look at this smile curve and ask yourself, where are you creating value?